Okay, welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. And I am Mangg. And today we're playing Fallout 2. And yeah, why not? Because every Thanksgiving, every year for the last, I want to say 7 or 8 years, I have played Fallout 2 on that day. Specifically, I wait till Thanksgiving Day. I don't know why, it's just tradition. And I fire up some Christmas music. It's the first day of the year that I actually listen to Christmas music. And it's just tradition now. And we're playing this, we're playing it with the restoration mod pack thing. And we're playing it, I believe we're playing it at 1440p. I think it can support that, so yeah, why not? If you're curious what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get to the Navarro base in order to get Mark II power armor, but it involves a great deal of luck, so I'm sure I'll die a number of times and reload. Anyways. On the channels. So last week, the men video went up, which was, seems to be doing alright. I can't complain. I think it might end up outperforming the elves, which is surprising because I wouldn't think most people would assume men to be that interesting. At least that's my personal kind of thought. You know, whenever I play an RPG, I guess I do tend to play human quite a bit, just because it's the most vanilla, and so for a lot of characters that I make, it's just, you know, the character itself is the interesting part, and I want the kind of foundation to be basic. But I know that a lot of people shy away from playing humans because it's just so vanilla and basic. And men in Tolkien's world, I mean, they've definitely done some interesting stuff, and the whole history of Numenor and all that is pretty cool. So, yeah, all right. This week, I'm thinking about sticking with the schedule of 3 weeks, 3 episodes of the regular series, and then going 1 week to like history or folklore or something. I'm thinking about that. That would leave about 12 episodes a year of history, which perhaps is about right. It's not really my focus, and it's always, I think, going to underperform unless I really commit to it, which I don't plan on committing to it that much. So I think it's always going to underperform, and my channel is going to be known as kind of a fictional lore channel. So perhaps 12 is probably about right. So this week, we covered Chernobyl, the Chernobyl disaster, which has always fascinated me. I've always been interested in the Chernobyl disaster, ever since I first learned about it. Especially Pripyat. I think Pripyat is just a really interesting place. I, like many people, you know, encountered a version of it, I guess, in Call of Duty 4, which I mentioned in the video. And so after I saw it in Call of Duty 4, I looked into it some more, and I was like, you know, wow, look at this. This is a... I mean, I don't know if it's the largest ghost town in the world. I don't know. I didn't fact check that. But it's got to be pretty big. I mean, it's 50,000 people. Just about. Just abandoned it in an hour. In an hour. Boom. Gone. And they never returned. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's not like, you know, it's not like Pompeii or something like where they all just died, you know. It's not like a dead, horrible town that's just ruined. It's a ghost town. They just got up and left in an hour. So that's always kind of fascinated me. So, you know, I know that Chernobyl, the video, is definitely like a loss of views for the week. Like if I did Hobbits instead this week, I would absolutely get more views this coming week than Chernobyl. But it's just kind of a this interests me, and so I'm going to talk about it. And I think it is. I mean, I think it's fascinating. Obviously, I don't know how the video will turn out. You know, I show every exploring video to my parents to see what they think, and they like all of them, but they're probably not the best judges, so I don't know. It's the longest exploring video so far at 11 minutes and like 11 seconds. And it's the most technical. Because up to this point, I really haven't discussed anything related to science or, you know, any sort of technical details like that. Because I mostly dabble in fictional things, and even Halloween and Jack the Ripper were just kind of like, yeah, you know, real world stuff, but not really complicated events or anything like that. So this is definitely different than anything I've done, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So I think next week we'll be back to, I'm pretty sure we'll be back to Lord of the Rings. Might be Hobbits. I don't know. I have to look into how much. I have to look into if the Hobbit video would actually be worth it. See, I don't know if I can think like that, because it's like, view-wise, it's going to be worth it. You know, I guess at some point it's okay to consider, you know, viewership over just personal thoughts. Not all the time, but sometimes. You know, if I pump out a 5-minute video about hobbits that gets 100,000 views in the end, oh well, you know, that seems fine. It would probably also be a disservice to hobbits if I didn't cover them. So, probably hobbits. On this channel, you know, we've been playing some Dishonored 2. We've been playing some Twilight Princess, which is just like, we've been playing Owlboy. I think there's only one more part left on Owlboy. We're pretty near the end, I'm sure. Yeah. And then I don't know what'll happen. I do want to do, at some point in the near future, I'm not sure when. I want to do a full Let's Play of Final Fantasy on the NES. Because I have the NES Classic now, it's on there, which is, I mean, obviously it's an important game, but it's such an odd choice. I brought over the NES Classic on Thanksgiving to my sisters, and we hooked it up for the kids. And the first game they picked was Final Fantasy. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, that's not a good choice for right now. But, you know, they see Final Fantasy, and it's like, oh boy. So, I've never played it. I've never played it for more than like 2 minutes. So, it could be interesting to sit down, do a proper Let's Play of it, see how it goes. And, yeah, so I don't know when that'll happen. I mean, upcoming games, I have Watch Dogs 2, which I got free because I bought a new video card, so that's nice. I like free games. I don't think I'm going to Let's Play that because it's just, I Let's Played the first one, I know, and it was, I should have saved right there. Damn it. Yeah, I don't think so. And then, also next week, comes out Final Fantasy 15. Which I'm also not Let's Playing. I'm debating about getting it. I guess I have to get it, right? How can I not get it? It's a Final Fantasy game, even though it's a bit of an abomination. Apparently, from what I hear from early reviews, it's very good. So that's, I guess, reassuring. I don't consider it a Final Fantasy game. As far as I'm concerned, the Final Fantasy series ended with 10. Because once you go off of turn-based combat, it's just, that's not... It's like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. It's like, yeah, you continued the series, but did you really? Did you really? This is Fallout. This is Fallout, what you're watching right now. You're just making spin-offs. So yeah, I guess I'll get Final Fantasy 15, but there will not be a Let's Play. So I'm not sure. Damn, I'm getting really unlucky here. Yeah. And then other games coming out. Shit, I don't know. I don't know. We'll kind of wing it. You know, I'm coming to the thought that I don't know how good it is. I mean, I've already, you know, in my YouTube career, I've already outlawed pretty much Let's Playing any RPG, right? That's why I would never Let's Play Final Fantasy 15. Because it just takes way too damn long. And you have to grind and things like that. It's just a very lengthy process. And as I said in one of the Zelda videos, the longer I play a game on a Let's Play, the more likely that I am to dislike it. And so, you know, I'm thinking, like, how many, you know, how long of a game should I really Let's Play? Where do I draw the line? I mean, I know I just said I want to Let's Play Final Fantasy on the NES. I know, but that's kind of a special case. Jesus Christ. You know, I'm doing Dishonored 2. And Dishonored 2 is a fun game. And it's not incredibly long, but it's a bit long. And I'm wondering if I should be Let's Playing games like that, or should I stick to games like Owlboy? You know, should I only Let's Play games that have like 10 parts or less? Which does rule out a good number of mainstream games. Because 10 parts or less is basically 10 hours or less. Which eliminates a lot of stuff. And I know that I've said that I don't have to Let's Play anything, because I know I'm never going to get well known for Let's Plays, and I don't need to anymore. And I only do it because I enjoy it. So really everything that I do in regards to Let's Plays comes down to personal preference at this point, which maybe feels like a slight to some people that are fans and have opinions about what I do, and I appreciate opinions and support and all that. But I mean, in the end, it is just my hobby. It's just a hobby. It's like going out fishing or going hunting or gambling or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Should I only Let's Play like indie games? Should I only let's play, things like Owlboy? And I don't play that many indie games. And I've said in the past that I would like to do more indie games. So I don't know, maybe I'll just become a channel where I don't do that many mainstream games. And I pick up just oddities on Steam and, those little kind of, a lot of pixel art type games and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. These are questions that I have to think about. For the meantime, though, we will be finishing Dishonored 2, and we'll be finishing Owlboy, and we'll be finishing Twilight Princess. I mean, the Zelda series is mainstream and is lengthy, and I have to finish them all, so that's not going anywhere. But after Dishonored 2 and Owlboy, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Don't we have to, like, sneak in? I don't remember. Usually when I play Fallout 2 for Thanksgiving, I only play it, like, that day. So I don't get incredibly far, and I don't usually go for the power armor at the start. So I'm doing things a little, differently. Anyways. Let's talk about Mechs versus Minions, because we continued that on Monday. And, it was very different. Very different experience this week compared to last week. We actually went through 2 missions in one night. And we did both of them on the first try. Success, no problems. And it felt really damn good. I don't know if the missions were just designed a little differently, designed easier or something like that. There's something that just meshed with us better. Or we were just getting better, or a combination of the two. I'm not sure, but we definitely... shit, there's another way into the base, I'm almost certain. Or maybe I... No. So yeah, the 2 missions that we did consisted of... boy. Okay, so the first mission that we did involved a... I guess this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler, I guess, a minor spoiler for Mechs vs. Minions. But it really would only entice you to pick up the game because of how badass it is. The third mission that we did involved a boss mech. It's like a giant fucking mech. Like, this is... the game itself, without this minion, without this mech in it, is well worth $75 worth of components. But this thing is worth like $75 on its own. It's gigantic. It's fully colored. It's gorgeous. It's just insane that this was in the box. It was hidden away. It was inside its own mini box that was concealed. But it's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. And so, I mean, all the mechs are painted, and it's just, it's crazy. I don't know how they did it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways, the mission involved this 2x2 grid, and the big ass boss mech was placed in the middle. And we basically had to kill it. That was the objective, was kill the boss. and you had to step on certain tiles in order to like deactivate his certain types of shields, so you could damage him with certain types of damage. And we were worried at the start because we were like, we've gone by a few turns and we have done 0 damage. But eventually, later on, like as you build up your kind of command line and all your abilities, eventually, yeah, each of us were quite capable, and so we gunned him down very quickly, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to behold. So that was great. That was very cool. And we didn't really kill him. He will make a reappearance later on. Basically, within the story, he ran off, still alive, and so we're chasing after him. So the 4th mission consisted of us basically chasing after the boss and him throwing like dozens and dozens of little minions behind him, and so we had to deal with that. And so the 4th mission was basically us trying to get to one side of a map before a bunch of minions got to our side of the map. So it was kind of a race, which sounds simple enough because you can just take your time and blah blah blah. But you can't really take your time because, there are different effects that happen. The minions damage you. You might not all get the cards that you want to get. Wait, why did I get kicked out? I should have read that, shouldn't I? I don't even remember.
Oh, this is federal property. Don't give me any excuses.
Damn it. I have to talk to the sergeant. And I thought that was him, but I guess not. Anyways. So it was the ending of the 4th mission pretty much came down to a 75% chance on a dice roll, which are fairly good odds, all things considered, but you'd rather not be in that position. But we were, and it was me, of course, and we managed to get the dice roll successfully. Everything worked out, and so 2 missions in one night. We would like to keep that pace up, but I doubt it will happen. But, yeah, it was good. It was good. I think this might be the sergeant. So, yeah, if there ever comes a night where we don't finish a mission, we'll probably go on hiatus for a few weeks from it. Which is unfortunate because it is a very good game and I'd like to see it all the way through. But, yeah, it's pretty demoralizing. And it is, we are committing a good number of nights to this just in a row. No, I guess that was not the... That's the base commander. Okay. Yeah, anyways. Thursday, of course, we did not have D&D. I think I said last Hanging with Mangg that we were going to, and somehow I completely forgot about Thanksgiving. Yeah. So the plan is, I guess, that Ziggy has secretly shared with me. For D&D, he is planning to end the campaign around early February. After we get to, like, Paragon tier or something like that. That's his goal. Now, things, of course, don't always go according to plan, so it's possible that we won't, we'll end before then. But that's his plan, and so I guess what's going to happen is, at that time, when this campaign ends, I will be switching over myself to Warhammer, and I will run the Enemy Within campaign. Now, I've barely read the campaign. I've read, like, the first little section. So I have a lot of reading ahead of me to do, but I've pretty much finished the rule book. I've read all the way through the rule book. And I'm gonna have to like dump off a lot of shit in order to pick this up, and then with it I'll have more weight capacity. Yeah. Doubled my strength. It's crazy, but it's power armor. It's the future. So I'm pretty excited about the whole concept. It's going to be very different than anything that they've played before, because it is very brutal. It's a very brutal system. As I've said, you can die from a peasant with a dagger at pretty much any point. And combat is, in general, somewhat ill-advised. You don't want to go into any combat unless you have some sort of advantage. Whether that's like an ambush that you're doing, or it's like you have overwhelming numbers, or you have overwhelming some sort of magical advantage where they have no magic, or something like that. You know, you want to have some clear advantage that makes it much more likely for you to survive the encounter with minimal injuries. I don't know how likely it is. I still haven't run any mock combats to see how combat goes. But I have time. I have time to read the whole campaign and figure out how things are going to work. And I think before I start the campaign, I am going to do a video, because I like doing that. See, that's bullshit. You see one of your own. I'm just walking around with my own armor, just like you guys, and you guys just start shooting at me. I'm going to do like a primer video that's going to discuss the setting of Warhammer Fantasy, specifically during the 2nd edition, as well as the system itself, to go kind of over all the basics of how everything works. Yeah, so it should be pretty interesting. Unfortunately, the only the Enemy Within, again, is apparently one of the best campaigns ever written, supposedly. But it was only written for 1st edition and 3rd edition. And 3rd edition is drastically different than the first 2 editions. 1st and 2nd are fairly close, but there's definite differences, mostly with magic. Apparently in 1st edition it was a lot more difficult to get a hold of magic spells. Like you actually had to find like grimoires and stuff out there, and that's pretty cool. I do kind of like that idea. But then it's like, you know, if you miss some grimoire, you don't find any. It's just you're like sitting around, you're hoping the DM throws you a bone. So I don't know. So I have to basically, there have been a number of conversions between 1st edition Enemy Within to 2nd edition. So there'll be a little bit of effort involved, but hopefully not too bad. So that'll be in early February at the latest. I would expect probably January. Because basically, if there's any TPK, pretty much if there's any TPK within like within mid-February to January, that's the end of the campaign. So it's more or less us just kind of staying alive until February. That's the issue. So, yeah, I guess I got to get crack-a-lacking on reading the campaign and figuring everything out. But worst comes to worst, we just do like a bye week where we play something else. Let's put this in there, and we got an assault rifle. Yeah. So that should be good. That should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a big campaign. It's a very lengthy campaign. Again, on the level of massive Nyarlathotep. So I'm hoping that I can kind of persevere through the whole thing. Because, you know, when you talk about a campaign that's as lauded, you know, one of the best campaigns ever written, you know, that's not thrown on lightly. And my first run-through of Master Nyarlathotep online, you know, that was one of the best RPG experiences I've had, and I DM'd it. So it would be nice to get a similar experience. Yeah, boy. There's no board game night tomorrow, so no Mechs versus Minions. Hopefully we do D&D on Thursday, because Frederick Zoller needs to get back into action. Do some chatting, as he does. But I guess that's about it. Yeah, I suppose I'll end it here. So check out the Chernobyl video. I hope that my explanations of nuclear physics and reactors is basic enough that people can understand, and that it's interesting. Dishonor 2, Owlboy, Twilight Princess, and then who knows? Who knows, I say. But alright, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.